You are watching Tumaveles book, and in this episode I'm going to talk about 4 service or system generic application fields. These are fields that the users generally do not see, or if they see them, it is for information or display purposes only. They are not able to edit them, and if the application is coded properly, even with the hacking methods, the users will not be able to modify them. First type are integer-based IDs. They need a little to no storage that could save really big integers like 2 power to 63, and they are saved in very little size, for example 4 bytes. It depends on programming language and specifics, but generally in 4 bytes you could save 2 power to 63, 2 multiplied 63 times. In the same size you could save 4 characters that you cannot save 2 big numbers. So integers are better for sorting, for indexing, and for doing all kinds of mathematical operations and aggregations. And the computers, the smartphones, what they do is just that, calculate mathematical operations. If you are watching audio, if you are listening audio, if you are watching video, if you are viewing something, in the end, in the core, it all goes down to mathematical operations. So the chips are optimized for mathematical operations. So that's the reasons many times the data storage systems use integer-based IDs. That's why the majority of cases they are used as primary and foreign keys, because the work and the workload on them is very big generally. There are a lot of operations executed on them, but some phones their uniqueness is limited only to a specific type of records. The moment a record is out of the database system, you must know that this or that ID of what type it started out. Otherwise, you may get mixed out. The problem I'm pointing here is situations where the same type of records, when, for example, when there are multiple database systems that have write operations on them, require to create new records, and if they are integer based, there must be some new external system that generates IDs that is not optimal. And not in backend systems today, we have mobile applications, mobile browsers that the browsers can create apps. They can create there is IndexedDB data storage in the browser. There is deprecated SQL in the browser, but there is also IndexedDB, that is IndexedDB, that could create database in the browser, not only in native applications. So the possibility of creating new records of some type are open, and even on the client side, not only on the backend systems. To resolve this comes the next type of general and very used a lot system fields that are GUIDs. GUID is a universally unique identifier that is long 128 bits, and it is considered randomly enough. So different instances of a same application could create new different IDs with a very low chance of collisions. If you have seen, for example, the case of Windows license key, it is something like that. Collisions are possible, but it seems there are acceptably small enough chance of collision, so every big or small corporation, company or small developer to use them. For need of such uniqueness, they could be used as primary keys or for browser-based applications. And for browser-based applications to hide the number of records and make them more secure. For example, if you read some article or some record that is loaded from the backend with direct link that is hittable from the browser, if you have ID, you notice in the query parameters the ID. If the database system is based on GUID, you'll see the 4 or 5 sequence of numbers and letters, and you will not be able to just shift the number up and view the next record. The next type are flags. Applications often need some Boolean or enum types that describe the state of the records that are often not directly displayed to the users, but taken into account in the database queries. Example of flags are states like is synchronized, is deleted, states like active or inactive, verified or not verified, blocked, and so on. Next, and the last fourth type of general purpose fields are timestamps. Moments in time with something has happened in software systems are very popular and used a lot in a lot of cases. Generally used for example for date of creation, date of modification, date of login, date of logout, expiration date, valid until date, active until. So there are a lot of business logic that is around timestamps, and that's why this last type of field that I'm gonna point out here is also very used. See you next time.